Thank you so much for that opportunity. Great to meet you, Sarah. So I walked in the back door, I had a flashback. In 1994, I got to play in the College World Series with Georgia Tech on the baseball team. And in 1995, shortly after that, we came back into this ballroom and threw a party like you've never seen before with family and supporters, and they handed us our College World Series ring. I probably would have never guessed that night when they handed me my College World Series ring, I'd be sitting here talking to you about running for lieutenant governor. Probably other folks on my team that would be even more surprised. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to run for lieutenant governor. It's an honor for my wife and my kids as we travel the state. It truly, truly is for us. I want to start by telling you a little bit about my background because I think it's really what separates me from the other folks in our race here in this Republican primary. My first paycheck came on a baseball field. It's a great place to get your first paycheck. I got drafted my junior year out of Georgia Tech and got to spend 6 great years playing in the minor leagues for the Florida Marlins organization and learned a lot in those 6 seasons, right? I learned how to work hard, but probably most importantly, I learned how to chase a dream. And chasing a dream isn't about waking up in the morning and it happening. Chasing a dream is about chipping away at it every single day you show up to work. And that would later serve me well in the business world. It now serves me really well in this journey that my family is on. Knowing that baseball was going to end at some point, I started to write a business plan and had it ready to roll. So 2 weeks after my career ended untimely with a shoulder surgery, I started my first company. And we started big, right? It was in our living room. It was, we called it, my wife and I called it our global headquarters. But we grew, and we got to experience the American dream. But for us, probably most importantly, was we got to watch other families experience the American dream. We got to watch families come to work with us and send their kids to college and get ready for retirement and start their careers out of college. It was a great opportunity for us to see others experience the American dream. We sold that business a number of years later, and really it launched us into a number of different opportunities in the business world. Most folks at this point say, well, where in the world did politics come in? Politics came to my wife and I in a little bit of an unusual spot. We were sitting at church, and our pastor had a series that was called Recovery Road, and it simply challenged us to stop complaining and start getting involved. Right? Many of you are in this position here because you had the same interest. You wanted to get involved and you wanted to make a difference. You know, I didn't get into politics to meet new friends. I didn't get into politics to pad my resume. I'm pretty happy with the one I've got. I got into politics because I wanted to make a difference. And so I jumped into an election against the State House, essentially a longtime incumbent. I won the race and walked into the General Assembly in 2013 and didn't know a single person in the room. But what I did know is what my principles were. And I knew what my values were. And I knew that I wasn't just wasn't satisfied with the title. I wanted to make a difference. And so I went to work. I went to work with a number of folks in this room that helped me pass 3 very important bills that are now on the books here in the state of Georgia. One is the Cargo Theft Act. Georgia was third in the nation in cargo theft when I got sworn in. We passed a piece of legislation that's allowed us in 1 year to drop cargo theft 68% in the state of Georgia. We then wrote Michael's Law with the help of many in this room. Michael's Law allows you and us as a state to start to crack down on folks that want to serve underage kids alcohol, and we raised the age of bouncers to the age of 21. And last but not least, we passed the Rural Health Care Bill. Together, we created a $200 million tax credit program that allows you and your communities to decide how to fix your rural hospitals that are struggling to just keep their doors open, with not a single string attached from downtown Atlanta. Look, I'm running for lieutenant governor, like I said, not to make friends, not to pad my resume, but because I want to make a difference. I think I can do it better, I think I can do it bolder, and I think I can create a culture that rewards good policy over good politics. Way too many of the problems in your community are dying a painful death at the Georgia Capitol, not because it's a bad idea, but because petty politics are being played in the back rooms, in committee rooms, and on the House and Senate floors. Your problems deserve to be taken head on. Look, this race is a sharp contrast, and I'm not going to sit here and deny it. I'm not supposed to win this race. I'm not the next guy in line. I started this process at ground zero, but we have continued to walk across the state and tell our message to folks. I've not been in elected office like my opponents for decades, and I'm proud of it. I've not voted exactly the way I'm supposed to. I'm proud of that. I don't have a long political resume. I don't. Folks don't care about long political resumes anymore. They care about real resumes. They care about people they can look in the eyes and that they honestly believe that they know what it takes to create jobs, what it takes to fix the problems we have out there. Look, the problems that you face in your communities are huge. And you're tired of people talking about ways to improve education. You're ready to see action. You're tired of folks talking about modernizing the tax code here in the state of Georgia to help your communities. You're ready for action. And you're tired of people talking about access to broadband, just talking about it. You're ready to see action. Look, I'll leave you with this and would love to field some questions. I don't have to be the next lieutenant governor. It's not on my bucket list. I'm probably not supposed to be the next lieutenant governor. But I tell every room in Georgia that I get to speak to every single day, I let them know that I want to be the next lieutenant governor. I want to help shape the future of this state. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Provo, we'll start with you this time with your first question.
Do you support more transparency from the Department of Revenue, such as sharing a list of active vendors with local governments or providing more data about local sales taxes to cities?
One, it was great to meet you today for the first time, and congratulations on the new role, and welcome to Georgia. Look, I've never thought that transparency is a bad word. I think we all understand what transparency looks like, and the voters really, truly want transparency. I think for me, we need to drive as many decisions as we possibly can down to the local level. The part of this whole equation when I got elected and walked into the State House of folks in cubes in Atlanta are smarter than folks who sit in city halls and county commission offices are not as well versed to solve the problems, I think is wrong. I think the ultimate decision maker is those folks that are in the communities, and I get to watch that play out every which way throughout my time in the General Assembly. I support transparency. I support the opportunities for communities to be able to elect those folks and to be able to tackle those issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nolan, we'll go to you now.
The House Rural Development Council has proposed putting state money toward building out the broadband infrastructure in rural Georgia through reverse auctions and funding it through a telecom tax that would replace franchise fees. What is your position on using taxpayer money to incentivize wireless providers to expand in rural broadband?
So it's a problem, right? Broadband. How many folks in here think broadband is an issue in your community? It's a challenge, and we need solutions. I'm one of those that think that the local communities are going to bring the best solutions forward to us. I think technology is going to be a large part of what we do going forward. I think that there's an opportunity to modernize what we do, and I don't think we need one fix for every single community. I don't think we need to rush in and say, well, this works for this community or for these 3 communities and us tell you what to do. I think we ought to open up the spectrum. I think free markets works in a lot of places. I think in some communities, free markets are ignoring you because there's never a business equation to deliver those broadband services out to the most remote places. But if we're going to truly be the state we want to be, if we're truly going to accomplish what you think and what I think is the best days in front of us as the state, right? Not many states can say that. But our best days are in front of us. If we're going to truly accomplish those goals, we need new ideas to solve old problems. One of the challenges I saw at the General Assembly was we continue to recycle session after session after session the same old ideas. It's like folks in elected office are scared to death of innovation. But the best way that you have seen in your communities for your businesses to grow are through innovation and strategy. I have a program that I've launched in the last few weeks that I'm talking about in every community I go to in Georgia called BIG, Built in Georgia. I want to be the production capital of the entire Southeast. And I think we do that by bringing opportunities for business to come here and to call this home and allow rural communities to be engaged. I just saw the mayor of West Point had an opportunity a few weeks ago to go down there. Kia is a prime example of what that's done in that community. It has created an entire generation worth of jobs. So you're going to hear me come to your communities and talk about BIG, Built in Georgia.
Thank you. We'll reset the clock, and you have 2 minutes to give us your closing statement.
Thank you for this opportunity. I want to use this time here to talk about a very important initiative to me. And I've used it as a guiding light over the last few years at the General Assembly. And it's called the 4 C's: churches, charities, corporations, and citizens. I'm one of those, along with many in this room, that believe the 4 C's should be the front lines of defense against poverty. The 4 C's, right? Because churches and charities and corporations and citizens show up to work every day to help the issues around poverty in your communities and in my communities with innovation, with volunteerism, and probably most importantly, with exit strategy. So as Lieutenant Governor, I want to work with each one of your communities to look for opportunities to leverage the talents and resources of the 4 C's to try to use Georgia as an example for the entire country as to how we take on these challenges. It's a bipartisan solution. We're not talking about Democrats or Republicans. We're talking about those people in need and opportunities to reach in to creative ideas to help them. I mentioned earlier that this race is about a sharp contrast, and it is. And we've got 4 months till the primary to be able to put our best case out there. And so I look at everybody that I see, and I try to just let them understand that if I win this race, if I'm the next lieutenant governor, if I'm the next Republican primary winner for this race, it's because folks all over this state look me in the eye, and they believe I'm an honest person that's going to approach the job with the utmost integrity. I'm going to listen to everybody in the room. I'm never going to think that I'm the smartest person in the room. I'm going to absolutely ask a ton of questions. And I hope this is a better place when I leave after 4 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. We appreciate your comments.